Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about the 2024 Dune 2 film. There are no spoilers for 2024 Dune Part 2 in this. We're going to talk about a concern I have for Dungeons and Dragons that directly relates to Dune 2. All right. So I'm going to talk about my experience watching Dune 2, but there's no spoilers here. All right, let's go. So, oh, and you know what? I'm going to tell you exactly what this video is about right here at the beginning, right? And I want to tell you why I do that, right? I want to tell you what the video is at the very, very start of the video. And one of the reasons too is I don't always get the title of this video. And it's always not. I have to accomplish 15 things with that title, and it doesn't always make it completely clear what the video is. So the reason I try to tell you what the video is right away is I want you guys to watch the content you want. If you don't like my content, you shouldn't watch it. All right. And that seems like a super clear statement, but I get a lot of people roll up on the channel and complain a ton. Nobody's keeping you here. All right. All right. So here's what this video is about here today. I am very worried that Dune 2, I think Dune 2 is going to commercially fail. I've seen it, and it is spectacular. It is a 5 out of 5 star movie, but I think it's going to commercially fail because it's too brilliant, right? And this is something that is very hyper focused on Dungeons and Dragons, and we need to talk about this, okay? Brilliant things fail commercially. Why? Because if you build a product for smart people, you will lose money. And the reason why is I don't even think a third of the people in America, if you build a product for brilliant people, not smart people. I think a lot of Americans are smart. I think most Americans are smart. If you build a brilliant product, you will lose money because there aren't many brilliant people. I think 1 in 10 Americans are brilliant. And if you build a brilliant product and you build a product for brilliant people, that product will fail. Okay. Now this is a problem of Dune 2, and let me explain why. And then we're going to talk about why it's a problem for Dungeons and Dragons 2, Dungeons and Dragons as well. So I went to see this movie, right? Dune 2. I was glued to the screen. Every second was pure joy for me. I love this movie. I'm so excited. And for me, I have a new Star Wars, new Star Trek. Okay. This is on par with those incredible series, which I'm a fan of both of. Right? And here's the list. Dune is the best. Star Wars is second, and Star Trek is third. But those are the best 3 space intellectual properties in the world. I went to see this movie. 2 young people sat next to me. Both I didn't know. I went to see by myself. Right? They both fell asleep. 2 young people fell asleep in a fan first screening, IMAX screening of Dune 2. Both fell asleep. Okay. It's too brilliant. It's all about politics, and it's too brilliant. Dungeons and Dragons has the same problem. It's like, why didn't you make Dungeons and Dragons like my hyper brilliant little podcast TTRPG made by a guy who only played it with other tabletop role-playing game designers? Why isn't Dungeons and Dragons brilliant? Dungeons and Dragons isn't brilliant because Dungeons and Dragons cannot be brilliant. It should not be brilliant. It is for the masses, right? It has brilliant aspects, right? But making a hyper brilliant tabletop role-playing game is schmuckville. It's not good, okay? Dungeons and Dragons runs great when is super enjoyable when it's run poorly. Do you understand that? Dungeons and Dragons is super enjoyable when it's run poorly. You can't say that about John Harper's work. If you're not brilliant, you're never going to be able to run Blades in the Dark. All right? If you're not brilliant, you're never going to be able to run Crown and Skull. Never, right? And so Dungeons and Dragons has to tamp down its brilliance so that it can remain popular for the masses, for millions. because it doesn't do what other tabletop role-playing games does. It doesn't make a few brilliant people happy. It makes tens of millions, maybe 100 million people happy at once, right? And so Dune 2, my prediction is it's going to be a commercial failure, okay? And it is not going to be able to surpass Star Trek or Star Wars and become a mass media favorite because it's too brilliant, right? And so this is something people don't understand about Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is attractive to the masses, not just the brilliant. And that's important, and that's good, right? Blades in the Dark, Crown and Skull are brilliant. In many ways, they're better than Dungeons & Dragons. But what they do is easy, right? Yes, you can do a Picasso and put some, thing on the wall that 10% of the population appreciates. Who cares, right? Dungeons & Dragons lifts up the entire industry, the entire tabletop industry, right? Not just DPRPGs. And so this idea of making something that's attractive to the masses and still attractive to the brilliant people of the world, this is extremely challenging. And Dungeons & Dragons does it extremely well, in my humble opinion. Every word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.